Good morning. I'm trying something a little different today where I didn't plan out what I was going to say at all. And we're going to see how it goes. In general, in order to feel confident, I need to plan. And we're going to just see what happens when I haven't planned. In truth, because a lot of these plans have not been working out. So we're going to be agile. We're going to try a new methodology and we're going to see where we get with it. Another week of what the fuck am I doing and where am I going? I think I want to talk a little bit about the people aspect of it, the building a network. Networking is the worst word in the entire world. Um, Maybe second to LinkedIn. That is another terrible word. I don't wish networking or perusing LinkedIn on my worst enemy. When I was in college, I was an avid networker in the sense that I was reaching out to people left, right, and center. I I would just reach out to people and ask for internships. And honestly, it would work, but I think that it would work because offering free labor tends to work. Um, yeah, I got in college, I just sent an email to, All Saints. The designers who started All Saints had started another business called Bolingaro Trevor, which I think has since gone out of business. But I wanted to have an internship in fashion and I wanted to be in London. So I just emailed. I don't even know how I found the email. Maybe I just tried out different ones, but I emailed the people who started Bolingaro Trevor and said, "Can I be an intern?" And they said, "Okay, sure." So I went to London and they paid for I didn't get a salary, but I got a stipend. So anywho, that happened. I also blind emailed this fantastic woman who co-owns or co-runs Tank magazine and a British fashion magazine. That's really fantastic. You should check it out. I did the same thing with ManRepeller. I started writing articles for ManRepeller just because I reached out. But in all of those instances, I suppose I was asking for something, but more importantly, I was just offering things for free. So there wasn't a lot to say no to from their perspective. I think now that what I need is an actual job for money, going in with a cold email and just asking for a job is less effective and also just feels stranger. I like to think of networking as just broadening the scope of my friendships without an agenda. Like I think eventually there is an agenda, but I don't think that that's the first step. When I started this process a while ago, this process of trying to figure out a new job for myself, I started with my friends of mine who I know weren't going to be able to offer me any kind of way out or solution, but would serve as good brainstorming buddies. So I called two of my friends and tried to brainstorm my situation with them. And it was really encouraging because it was an opportunity to, I don't know, this sounds so cheesy, an opportunity to like, ugh, you just called your friends invented. Okay, yeah, but I did so intentionally. One of the things I think about this process is it's kind of like when you're at the gym and you think about the muscles that you're supposed to use and the ones that you're trying to train, it weirdly makes the exercise better. Like your intention matters. I think the same thing is true here. When I reached out to my friends, I said, I want you to help me brainstorm what I should do for a career. And when you set that intention going into it, it's a really interesting conversation. It's really interesting to have people who are close to you feedback at you what they think in such a precise way. And it went both ways. These friends were kind of dealing with a similar situation and wanted to know what I thought of theirs. And I don't know, it was really invigorating and it was a really positive. Being in this situation is net shitty, but having moments of like really wonderful conversations with your friends where you just get to dream up alternative realities is really wonderful. So that was nice. Also, other things like I've emailed an author of a book that I really liked. Again, I have no expectation of them being able to solve my problems for me, but it feels like the gym analogy, it feels like I'm just putting intentions out there that are, hey, I like this. And somehow affirming those things about myself might lead me in a direction of more certainty professionally. I should warn you, none of this has worked so far. Okay, so the last comment I want to make about on the casual networking is when I have been reaching out to businesses to get to know the owner or to understand more about it, I try not to make it clear that I necessarily want anything from them. I start with, let's go for a coffee. I would love to learn more about how you got to where you are, and just engage with curiosity rather than asking for something, because I think it's an easier barrier to entry from their perspective. Like if you send someone an email and you're asking for a specific, rather difficult thing, like please hire me, there's a lot of work that they'll have to do on their end to make that happen or not. Meanwhile, if you just say, can we go for a coffee? I'd love to buy you a coffee and pick your brain. It's a much easier thing for them to potentially say yes to. I've had like 3 or 4 jobs in my adult life that are not internships. I've had way more internships, as you know. um, but in all of them, I kind of just stumbled through from one thing to the next. And in being intentional about my next move, I want the job application process to feel truly two-sided. It's not just you want me to work for you, I want to work for you. And in that process, obviously, I've been on LinkedIn scrolling and watching my soul atrophy. Um, but I've realized, like, oh, I don't want to find my next job this way. I don't want to see a posting, submit a resume and a cover letter, competing with all the other resumes and cover letters, half of which were probably written by AI, but more than half were probably written by AI. That's just not what I want for myself in my next job. In a moment of delusional optimism, I made a list of companies that I would actually like to work for, one of which was Flamingo Estate. If you're not familiar with Flamingo Estate, I would take a little browse. It's such a fun and fantastic brand. I believe it was started by a man who was in advertising in New York and then bought a property in LA. I don't know if it was like a pseudo retirement situation or what, but he bought a property in LA that has beautiful gardens, and he started making soap, chicer version of Fight Club. He started making um, he started making soap, and he uses inspiration and ingredients from his home. And he's been really, God, everything about his brand is wonderful because it feels like authentic storytelling. He writes a Substack post every week. He tries new recipes. He has a beautiful home. He has wonderful branding. I mean, he worked in advertising, so I shouldn't be surprised, but holy moly. And he's really embraced it's kind of started during a time of minimalism in branding, and he went the other direction. His ads are these sexy men in the shower using Flamingo Estate soap. It's really wonderful and bold and colorful and fun. And it's fun in a really genuine way, or in a way that felt like reads genuine to me. So they were kind of top of the list of a brand that I could really, like, I really wanted to learn from. I wanted to understand how they've successfully grown without losing that human authentic component. So so for starters, they didn't have any job postings, but that didn't stop me. I found 3 emails: an email for someone in HR, a sales email, an HR email, and like a generic customer service email. And I emailed them my resume, but then I also emailed them, instead of a cover letter, I emailed them a small PowerPoint presentation about myself, things I would do if I worked for them. On their website, they said, if you have any ideas for who they should collaborate with next, feel free to send us an email. So I kind of made a PowerPoint presentation of the different collaborations I think that they could do, in part to demonstrate my understanding of their brand, but in other part to show them my own personality. Again, in an effort to make this next job of mine a truly two-way street. Like, I am inspired by you and you feel like there's something that I can offer. So I made this presentation and I'm going to show it to you. The last thought before I show you the presentation is just part of the reason I really wanted to do this, besides just showing who I am and putting a colorful face to the name or to the resume, was I don't want to compete with an AI cover letter. Look at this presentation and it'll be clear to you that AI did not make it. I thought that might be an asset. Okay, so future of Flamingo Estate imagined by Haley. That is me. Okay, the first idea that I had was a collaboration with The Onion, which is a comedic news source. Because Flamingo, one of the things I really like about Flamingo Estate's branding is that they don't take themselves too seriously. I thought that that could be a way of reinforcing the sense of humor of the brand. I don't know that The Onion would let, I think part of what's funny about The Onion is that all the ads in The Onion are not real. They're jokes. So I don't think that The Onion could necessarily run a genuine ad for Flamingo Estate, even if it were jokey. But I think Flamingo Estate could collaborate with The Onion. They have a tomato candle and they have some funny scented candles that actually smell amazing. So they could either make an onion scented candle kind of as a joke and then have it deliver, like when you deliver it there's a issue of the onion, or on the candle itself there's sort of a comic strip on the front of the candle. Or if not, if an onion candle is just a little bit too much to bear, it could be kind of other products. I know Flamingo Estate has olive oil and they have some other products as well that might suit onion a little bit more. Okay, this next one, I actually think Jimmy Fairley just did a collaboration with another brand, so this doesn't make sense anymore. But when I made this, Jimmy Fairley had not done a collaboration, and I think that the combination of the price point and the quality is a really good match. Jimmy Fairley sunglasses are nice, but they're not Prada sunglasses. Like they're more affordable. They're a French brand that have a good reputation, and I think Flamingo Estate is has a similarly solid reputation. It's not quite a luxury product, but it's a little bit nicer than traditional, so I think they could be a good match. I also think, because I'm such a fan of Richard Christensen, the man who started Flamingo Estate, he could be such a wonderful model. Here pictured, he could be such a wonderful model for Flamingo Estate and Jimmy Fairley. Okay, the next one, I thought that Flamingo Estate could make a cool, a reusable bag with Ziploc, because a lot of what they make candles, they make soap, but they also do a food collaboration or something like that. I think it could be cool if they did something with reusable storage, travel soap container, which wouldn't necessarily be something they collaborated with Ziploc on. Maybe they did that with the Container Store, but I still think having cool little snack bags that were Flamingo Estate branded, along with Ziploc, could be kind of fun. Intentionally superimposed that the Flamingo Estate logo over the Prada logo. That's a joke. I also think Flamingo Estate, and I'm surprised they don't already do this, they should have a recycled glassware program. Their candles, oh, I thought I had one right next to me. Their candles are fantastic, and the glassware that they're in is so like thick and glorious. And no matter what the scent is, all of the candles are the same green glass color. That would make it super easy to reuse and recycle them, and they could just ship out the candle that you then slot in to the green Flamingo Estate glass. I'm kind of surprised that they don't do that. Recycle glassware. So beyond collaborations, I also thought of some new products that they could launch, products requiring the Flamingo Estate touch. A really chic lighter. Flamingo Estate candles are literally my favorite candles, and I think anytime they advertise for their candles, it would be so easy to also be advertising for a chic lighter, something that is permanent and refillable and chic. Eau de toilette and body oil are two obvious extensions on the soap. They're sexy and they smell amazing, and those are two things that Flamingo Estate does really well. And then lastly, an ice cube tray. I don't know why. I just really want a chic ice cube tray, and I think they should make me one. For content, I had some ideas. They don't actually have a TikTok, and they have the most amazing thirst traps as their ads, mostly just hot men. And I think that they could do some behind the scenes stuff with their ads or them making products on TikTok. Their TikTok thirst traps would do really well. I think they should have a tea time series, and I think that I should host it. in all honesty, the garden at Flamingo Estate is stunning, and I think put a chic little chair out there, have a cup of tea, and gab about the business, gab about anything. Interview with Richard. We're on a first name basis now. I think it would be really wonderful content to add to their existing content. They have a wonderful Substack, as I told you, so you should check that out. But I think they should add a travel specific newsletter because one of the things that Richard does all the time is travel. And I love the things that he shares when he does that. And I think he has enough to make that a recurring newsletter. Also, they should do an artist in residence. So Flamingo Estate collaborates with brands all the time. Like they recently collaborated with a wallpaper brand, which is really cool. But they'll do niche collaborations all the time. And I think because of that, they should also do an artist in residence. Flamingo Estate could run the risk of only collaborating with exclusive, expensive brands. Like I think they once did a collaboration with Burberry, and I think that might be a little bit too luxury for their brand. Don't get me wrong, I understand the appeal of collaborating with Burberry. I just wonder if using their clout and their success to help artists might be an even better direction for them to go in because they still get that quality artistry and personality, but they're doing it with altruism. Like that's part of the reason I think they should be doing more recycling programs. An artist in residence program reinforces their ethics that it's not just chic for chic's sake or chic for expensive exclusivity. It's chic because it's intentional and it's meaningful. Does that make sense? So anyway, that's my love letter to Flamingo Estate. I shared my skills, my emails, and then at the bottom here I graded out, but those are all my like some past job experiences and stuff, but then I also attached my resume. So, all of that being said, this was an effort to expand my network. And in this case, I genuinely did ask for a job. I said I would be happy to make any of the to try to work on making any of these collaborations work, to build out some of your content, to help you design new products. I like threw me in there. I want to help. And it didn't work. They were really nice. They said, "Thank you, received, but we're not hiring." So yeah, I did put some thought and energy into this, and it didn't necessarily go anywhere. But I am proud of myself for doing it. I'm not going to sit here and necessarily recommend that anyone else out here do this because it didn't work. But I am delusional enough to think that one of these days it will work. I just want to work somewhere that doesn't want to hire someone with a normal resume. I'm like, don't get me wrong. Like I have experience. I have a normal resume. But can't it be a little bit more fun than that? Can it have a little bit more personality? Sometimes I think I might be disgustingly earnest, but I actually don't really know how to be any other way. And then when I think about it, even though my earnestness gets me into situations that are embarrassing and overly vulnerable, I think in general, I'd rather be this way and know that I tried genuinely than not. But I don't know what the takeaway is from this week, guys. I tried. Yeah, okay, you know what? That's going to be the takeaway. I tried, and I tried in a way that was really real to me, and that's something. So we're just going to keep on keeping on. So let's see how I feel in my vlog in a couple days.